Soy Pill versus Michael Knowles and another guy. I wanted to check this out because it looked interesting. Let's dive into it.
Me in a bikini. Stranger Things is not really a kid's show.
Wait, I gotta push back. It's for babies.
Your performance as a homosexual was entirely unconvincing. Second topic, keep them in your mind. There's a bunch of them. Second topic, vaccines are bad. Third topic, gay marriage is totally fake.
Oh,
a lot of
I hate these shows, bro. That's what I said. If I host something, I don't know, Michael KKK Knowles. Let's get another person on live who doesn't know what he's talking about, and let's turn him. Oh man, some guy did want to come up. I told him to join the Discord and he can catch up. So I don't know why he never showed up. We're all good to catch up. We need to go fishing together on my boat. Can I keep my Trump flag up? Hey man, this is free world. You can do whatever you want. Will I go in the middle of the lake with you to fish? I don't know. Don't know about that one.
phobes in the audience, okay? Fourth topic, the Somalis are more corrupt than Donald Trump.
Oh, all right.
Not a lot of Somalis in the audience. Fifth topic, Trump's economy is awesome. And sixth topic, Trump is right. White people were treated very unfairly after the Civil Rights Act.
I'm surprised people are here from the Civil Rights Movement. You guys were there for that. That's a little concerning.
I guess it's the Somalis, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
There we go.
Whose topic? Whose topic is it?
I believe that's mine, although
okay,
it's not
phrase
exactly.
it however you want.
Yeah, that's not quite how I phrased it, but that's totally fine. My prompt was that Donald Trump is more corrupt than a Somali daycare center. So that's something that I was going to bring up there. My argument basically is, we need to focus on the fact that if we're talking about fraud specifically or corruption, you can't really claim to care about whether or not there's a daycare center that has kids or not. I think Nick Shirley did a pretty terrible job trying to uncover that fraud, considering he walked in there with a camera and was like, "Show me the kids," and they were like, "No, we're not going to let you into a daycare center with a camera and your film crew." And
2 hours before they opened.
And then he cried fraud. So I think that that's a bit ridiculous here, and I think it's also very important to focus on where the fraud is here. So let's focus on some of this Somali fraud. So let's talk about Trevor Milton, who defrauded his investors.
Didn't Nicki Minaj become MAGA? Yeah, Nicki Minaj is okay. I don't know. I think she's just looking for maybe her husband's about to get pardoned because her husband's a freaking weirdo. I have no idea why she's so stupid. I don't get it. I'm gonna be honest. It doesn't make sense.
Costing tens of millions of dollars. He was sentenced to 4 years in prison. Oh, he's not Somali. And Donald Trump pardoned him last year. We can talk about Paul Walchek, who stole over $7 million from his employees' paychecks. He was sentenced to 18 months in prison. He was also pardoned last year by Donald Trump. He's also not Somali. We can talk about Michelle Fiore, who stole over $70,000 meant for a memorial to fallen police officers and spent it on herself, including her own cosmetic surgery. You guessed it, Donald Trump pardoned her last year. We can talk about Lawrence Duran, who ran the largest Medicare-related fraud scheme in history. Yeah, there's a few more.
That's a long list.
It's a long list here. He ran the largest one there.
Yeah.
We could talk about Philip Esteformis, who orchestrated the biggest criminal Medicare scheme in history, over $1 billion in fraudulent claims. We could talk about David Gentile, who defrauded over 10,000 investors of over $1.6 billion. Donald Trump pardoned him just last month. Okay, so if we want to talk about fraud, if we want to talk about corruption, you can't talk about them unless you talk about the fraudster in chief, which is Donald Trump. So I think it seems to me that conservatives and people on the right don't actually care about fraud. They only care about fraud and corruption when it's committed by an immigrant, a person of color, or someone who's part of the LGBTQ community. Because it's not really that fraud is what you're against. You don't like Somalis. So just come out and say that.
Okay.
Don't pick up this whole scheme about that.
I might say that.
Yeah, there we go. And that would be a little bit more honest there.
So your argument is Trump is more corrupt than the Somalis.
Correct.
Because he used the pardon power for these people.
Well, not just the pardon power. We can talk about many other things.
Let's take that.
Sure, we can talk about yes, absolutely.
So surely you would agree there's nothing corrupt about a president using the pardon power, which he has the absolute right to do.
I didn't say it's...
Do you see how bad faith these people are? Surely him using his presidential power is not corrupt. Yeah, he might have pardoned corrupt people that scammed a lot of people, but so it's not him that's doing the corruption, so it's okay. That's Michael Knowles' argument. This is not a real argument to have, bro. What?
He's corrupt because he used the pardon power.
Well, you said he's corrupt. Here's all my evidence. He used the pardon power.
Well, no, not that he used the pardon power. That he pardoned people who did corruption. If you pardon people who do corruption, then you're pro-corruption.
Okay, do you think Bill Clinton pardoned over 450 people, including 140 people on his last day in office, including many financial fraudsters, billionaire tax evaders, his drug addict brother, which has a residence later on for Joe Biden?
Not a fan.
You would say Bill Clinton's corrupt.
Not a fan. Do not like Bill Clinton
Joe
here.
Biden pardons, gives a blanket pardon to his brothers who engaged in a lot of...
Yeah, not a good idea. I don't think Joe Biden should have done that. Yeah, absolutely. I do think Trump is unique in the way that he does this. And also, we could talk about crypto and Trump literally starting world...
So Michael Knowles was not able to defend the pardon stuff. So he had to do the, what about this guy? Because that's the only thing they could do. Nobody's defending Bill Clinton here. And when it comes to Joe Biden, I do think he shouldn't have pardoned his son. Now, you can say that wasn't monetarily, that wasn't a monetary self-indulgent pardon. Or I guess you kind of could argue it because that's his family member, but it seems like he was just protecting his son. Doesn't mean that I'm a fan of it. Comparing that to Trump's pardons, where he's just pardoning corrupt politicians and corrupt businessmen for his own individual purposes because they become loyal to Trump, is not even, that's night and day, Michael Knowles. I know you're not smart enough to understand that. You're actually a piece of shit. That's a good clip. That's a good clip. That's a good clip. Come on. All right. What are some people saying here? I don't like the guy who's talking, though. He's misbehaved with some woman in the past. Is he? I have no idea who this guy is, so I have no idea. That's fucked up. Donald Trump, I'll give you a pardon as long as you make the head. as long as you give a lot of good, nasty head. Democrats are against voter ID, but for open borders, ignore federal immigration laws. Base facts. You're cooking. You're him. Democrats are not. There's some Democrats that are against voter ID. For me, I think voter ID, who cares? But what Democrats do you know that are against voter ID? Can you tell me someone specific? We'll look them up. Patty, supposedly they get 19 billion in fraud. Somalis. My opinion, 90% of government is corrupt. Your opinion? I don't think 99% of government is corrupt. I think that there's definitely less, but I think you could argue all the very wealthy people and part of the wealthy families is corrupt. All of MAGA is basically corrupt at this point. But other than that, you can probably allude to a level of corruption with all the people who have big, powerful names attached to big, powerful families, more than likely. There's a lot of people in local and state and part of Congress that probably aren't corrupt. It's hard to say though. And the insurrectionists, facts, buddy.
Liberty Financial and investing and getting hundreds of millions of dollars from that exact meme coin that he came out. And then if we want to also talk about pardons,
let's take
and he
that
pardoned Chang Jiangpeng, who then committed that fraud and was also invested in World Liberty Financial. So there's so many elements to this.
You mentioned the crypto. Trump has some meme coins and other crypto holdings.
Correct.
Is your claim that Trump's crypto business dealings are fraudulent or criminal?
Well, I think yes, in that they obviously violate the emoluments clause of the Constitution. We can talk about the fact that Jimmy Carter, when he was president, was required to sell his peanut farm before he became president, yet Donald Trump is able to hold on to or loosely pass off all of his business dealings to a very immediate family, and that's somehow not corrupt. So yes.
So you mentioned that the crypto thing might be illegal.
Yeah.
I'd be curious to see if you could cite a law for that. But on the emoluments point, the courts have ruled 3 times on Trump potentially violating the emoluments clause. What has the court said?
The court on the emoluments clause?
Yeah.
You can let me know. Which court specifically, Michael?
Well, twice the Supreme Court and once the appeals court.
Tell me about it. I'm sure, Michael, that they said it was totally legit and fine, the same way they said that Trump can break the law and have no consequences for it whatsoever on any official act.
There have been 3 emoluments cases.
Okay.
The Supreme Court dismissed 2 of them in an unsigned order, so it could have been unanimous. And then they couldn't rule on the 3rd one because an appeals court already dismissed that. So every time the libs have tried to get Trump on emoluments, it's been completely thrown out. You can't cite a law that broke with crypto.
Do you think then that the president should be able to have business dealings while in office that directly conflict with his roles as president in terms of whether it comes to upcharging the Secret Service for staying at his own properties and resorts on the taxpayer's dime?
The accounting issue with that was already resolved. There was no admission.
Michael Knowles is a fucking coward. He is a coward. He's a piece of shit that has no morals because there's no way he's using the courts have ruled on that. Yeah, the fuck right. That's your argument. Get the fuck out of here. If the courts rule on abortion, you still think it's immoral. You can go fuck yourself. This guy is such a piece of shit because he is such a grifter. He will go to any position to justify his weak fucking morals. If a court ruled that this abortion is okay, he would say it's immoral. I guarantee that. He's anti-abortion. So he doesn't determine morality. He doesn't determine corruption based off the legal process. Yeah, right. He knows that a meme coin that the president of the United States has put out there for his cult following, 50% of the country, 50%, and to invest in, so we can pull the rug and earn millions from them. I think around 2 million as of right now. And also, if you invest a certain amount, you can have private meetings with Trump, like some alleged international leaders have been doing, like some celebrities have been doing, private meetings with the president of the United States. And that's not corrupt? Are we serious? Dead ass? Yeah, Knowles can go fuck himself. He said, "That's the anger we."
Hilton, there was.
Hold on, just because there wasn't criminal proceedings against him, do you mean that nothing wrong happened?
No, I'm saying it's not corrupt. Which is your claim.
Hold on. Do you think someone has to be convicted of corruption in order to be
Well,
corrupt?
I think corruption has a meaning, and corruption revolves deceit or fraud. And in particular, when we're talking about political office, we are talking about crimes. We have a way to adjudicate whether or not a president's.
Patty, I can't be like that to everybody. They won't listen to me if I'm like that to everybody. I gotta pick my battles.
Committed a crime. Trump has not been found guilty on any of these fronts. Now, before we end, I think it is worth pointing out, we've talked a lot about Trump, and there's no evidence he's engaged in any corruption. However, we haven't talked about the Somalis.
I hate those. I hate his guts. I hate his guts so much.
Who have committed, by the most conservative estimate, $1 billion in fraud, potentially up to $9 billion in fraud, merely on.
Wait, are you citing the number of Nick Shirley in the back of a car just adding up numbers and not understanding anything?
No, I'm happy
from the like illiterate journalist. Is that what we're talking about?
No,
I think hold on. You hold on. What I'm challenging you is you completely moved on from the crypto point by trying to talk about the emoluments clause.
No, he brought up the emoluments clause.
Yes, but you've completely brushed over the fact that Trump has started a coin that is completely worthless, had all of his supporters buy into this, and then rug pull them for hundreds of millions.
Obviously, he claims that he's enriched himself through it, so it obviously has value.
It's worth,
you can't cite
it's worth nothing. It's worth nothing. I didn't say
but you're trying to get off the Somalis.
No, I'm trying to get off the Somalis. Get off of the emoluments clause so you can talk about the crypto coin and how much it is insane that he said, "Hey, give me millions of dollars for this worthless coin."
What law did he break?
I didn't say anything about illegality. I'm saying this is corrupt and this is fraudulent. Is it not fraudulent that Donald Trump stole millions of dollars from his supporters?
It's not fraudulent at all. There was no fraud. There was no deceit whatsoever.
Was it for corrupt to use his office and his position of power to steal millions of dollars?
It wasn't an office.
You can't trust these people. They do not care about you. You can't trust these people. He can't engage. He can't engage with what Soypel is saying. You can't trust these people, bro.
When he started the coin,
he used his popularity from being in office.
His popularity from being in office. Do we really want to go down that road?
Just to be clear, your defense is
you're from Canada to Capolier, being a billionaire before you enter office gives you a lot of power. It does.
Well, it was 2 days before the inauguration, so it's okay that he stole the money.
He wasn't in office.
Yeah. Okay. That's just to be clear about it. Your defense is he wasn't in office. It's fine to steal money from his supporters.
Citizens, especially one of the most successful businessmen of our lifetime.
Michael's conceit here is that his supporters are stupid and it's fine because Trump
never made that point at all. On your point though, before the bell rings, because you were cutting me off on Somalis because you don't want to hear it. The Feed Our Future scam was the largest fraud of COVID, of the pandemic. $250 million in that alone. $100 million of fraud when it comes to daycare. $14 million of fraud already admitted to by a Somali.
They weren't in office
when it comes to autism.
These Somalis weren't in office.
No, they're in our country.
No, they weren't in office.
We're going to kick them out. Okay. Questions from the audience?
Hey, everybody. I really want to know. Yeah, sure. We don't like Trump. That's what you're saying. But is there something wrong with...
Right. The conclusion from the substantial amount of evidence of things Trump did is we don't like Trump. Oh, man. These people, they hear fact. Out in this ear, out the other. Fact. It's just there's no absorption of the information. They'll have a Dominican friend. He said in 2020 Trump was down in the Dominican Republic. Said Trump was with a lot of young girls, 16 to 20, anything on that. Your friend, I can't say anything about that. I say it's weird. It's a crazy allegation. I don't know. Would your friend be willing to testify in front of a court? That's my substance. I know you're trying to equivocate to the allegations that are in the Epstein files. We'll go into that. We'll talk about the Epstein files a little bit later.
Simply more deeply investigating the Somali fraud, but also just fraud in general in the Minnesota area. Because
there's nothing wrong with investigating fraud, but you look at the way that Trump and his administration has the whole Doge scandal and how they found nothing, they convicted no one, and wasted a ton of money. I don't trust the current administration to look into fraud when
What's
they
the
themselves.
Doge scandal?
The scandal of that they are not able to find any fraud and they spend millions of dollars and it's complete waste. That's
First of all, Doge Doge was not tasked with finding fraud.
That was
part of it.
exactly
Doge
what
was
they
tasked with
marketed
fraud
as.
and abuse.
Doge was tasked
Yeah,
with
waste
making
fraud.
He's lying. He's lying. He's literally Doge was created to find fraud and abuse. What he's lying. He's just not telling the truth. Oh my goodness.
Fraud and abuse.
Waste, fraud, and
I'm sorry,
abuse,
was
yes.
that not when
No, no,
Elon Musk
yes.
came up
I'm
with
sorry,
going to
I'm
find
sorry.
the government?
So you're saying
more efficient. That's
they
its
didn't say
title.
waste, fraud, and abuse 100 million times?
No, it's literally
Doge
their
stands
motto
for
of what
the
they had.
Department of Government.
Oh,
Efficiency.
pivot away. That's not actually
and
what I
North
asked.
Korea is a democratic republic, so I guess it's fine, right?
Sure, that's what they're
No, I'm
named.
just
It's
saying
in the name.
The
The
task
presidents
of
are from
the task of it was to
Russia.
streamline
No,
spending
somewhat,
and to
though.
reduce spending,
And to
even
find
that which was
fraud.
not fraud.
And to find waste, fraud, and
Yeah,
abuse.
some of it was fraud. Yeah.
Well,
Which fraud?
Could you
What
give a
stuff did
case?
they find? Because they didn't actually find fraud. What they found is someone.
Honestly, Knowles might be the worst individual in the Daily Wire. He might be the worst one because he's so sneaky and conniving. Like Ben Shapiro is smart and sometimes he will actually say factually correct things, but I think he's very Israel pilled. So whatever, I think he's kind of a weird one. Fucking Matt Walsh is a dumbass who believes in aliens. Yeah, Knowles is the most dangerous one.
Like USAID was they found things that were spending money on that they ideologically disagreed with.
Yeah,
people
like
spending money.
transgender
People,
ballet-
people,
ball-
yeah, I'm
ballerinas
sure you're gonna, yeah, of course,
So-
they were literally
so
putting on transgender
one
ballet.
minute,
That's a real
Michael.
example.
Yeah,
wondering,
uh-huh.
guys.
100%.
So what if we just go like this? We say, okay, hear each other. Let's move forward and try to focus. Let's actually try to find the right fraud. Let's try to figure it out together as a unit. Because
it's a meaningless platitude. I agree with you. Fraud is bad. I don't trust the administration to find fraud.
Well,
They're
yeah,
horrible.
that's
at
fair
it.
enough.
You don't think the Somalis committed any fraud?
Did not
I didn't
say
say
that.
that.
Oh, this is
It's
a really
very
You said
possible.
fraud is bad.
hold on,
but it's
hold on,
latitude.
wait a
Now
minute.
I'm
That's
asking
not
a
what I said.
specific example.
Yeah, and if you look at the what's the quality
Yeah,
hearing
I
center or
agree
whatever,
with you.
this is someone
I
who's
also
been
agree with
investigated
Wolf,
for
too.
malpractice
He's
and
just
sorts
a
of stuff before
dumbass.
this, and I'm all for investigating that and making sure these kids are safe. Absolutely.
Oh, good.
And that was a really interesting
I
pivot there,
agree.
Michael, where you said this. You don't think the Somalis have done any fraud? None of us have ever made that
Well,
claim.
you just said it was all abstract and ideological,
hold on.
not practical.
No.
I said that about Doge. Doge
No,
didn't find
you're-
any
you're-
of
No,
this
you said it in
fraud.
response to his question just now. It's
because
all
we're
taken-
talking about fraud as a general concept, and Doge
Right, I'm talking
relates
about
to
a
fraud,
particular
even if you don't
example.
think it relates to fraud. But I think it's really interesting how you pivoted to the conversation of you don't think the Somalis have committed any fraud? No, I don't know. I think we should have an open, fair investigation that doesn't involve a 20-year-old
Trump a friend?
YouTuber
Oh,
named
for
Nick
sure.
Shirley who doesn't know the word benevolent to be able to come in here and tell us that somehow Somalis are committing fraud because they didn't let him into a daycare center with a
The-
camera.
Yeah, but so that's kind of his thing. He wears that hat everywhere in all his streams, all his videos. He wears that hat. Honestly, it makes him stand out. So I kind of respect the branding. I'm trying to think. What would I don't know. If I had something, I probably would do the same for branding, but I don't. Maybe if I find a really good purple shirt, that'd probably be really good for branding. The purple political breakdown. A really cool purple shirt, or purple hat, or purple necklace, or purple glass. No, I can't wear glasses the entire time. If you don't trust in politics to change your circumstances, then you're going to be doing away from being free. You're not free. Nobody is. I guess so.
being
That's a
conducted
wrong
by
one.
the federal government.
Correct. And I am in support of a federal investigation.
Well,
However,
we agree.
I think there should be an investigation. And I do think, however, that should also involve the state
We're
of
in
Minnesota. And we do see,
FM2
however,
Mass.
Minnesota
hold on,
perpetrated
hold on.
the fraud. Why
No,
don't we let
there,
them?
there were people.
No,
There were
we
people
can't.
who did that. So do you not think there can be investigators who investigate what goes wrong in the government who aren't the people who committed the fraud?
Oliver,
Michael?
the
Come on. Like,
the
this is-
investigation is into Tim Walz for participating in the fraud.
Sure,
How would you
there
allow
are
Tim
multiple
Walz to
types of
conduct
investigations that occur. You can investigate if you want Tim Walz for orchestrating that. There can also be people who investigate in the state to determine whether state fraud was done. It's
Yeah,
not.
that's
It's
fine.
not. It's not. Yeah, so he's trying to make it ridiculous to claim that if I claim that there should be any Minnesota involvement in it, I'm claiming Tim Walz should investigate himself. That's what Michael likes to do. He likes to reduce
kind of-
this
he's the
down.
governor
He likes
of
to reduce
the
this
state.
down.
Well,
He likes
what I'm
reduce
hearing
this-
is that a white suburban dad did the fraud and not a Somali.
Yeah, well, he participated in it, but there were about 80,000 non-white suburban dads who
Michael-
sent money to Al
But
Shabaab.
Michael, I'm going to go with you. They weren't in office, so I don't think it's that bad. It's fine.
You don't think
They weren't
They weren't in office.
They were in office.
No, you can commit crimes when you're not in office.
Oh, like
Can?
you can. I don't know
Wow,
where
that's
you're getting
crazy.
this idea from.
Like stealing a bunch of money in a crypto scam.
There's no. Again, I don't. You keep going back to Trump having crypto dealings.
Well, you said he wasn't in
you aren't
office. That was your
alleging any
defense.
crime.
Well, he wasn't president yet, so it's fine. Well, these guys weren't
No, no,
president either. So
we're talking about corruption in office,
Mhm.
but then you're saying that he committed some crime, but you can't name the crime.
So
You can't
first of all,
name
I didn't
anyone
say
who
it was a
was
crime. I said
He
it was
named the
corruption, as in
crime.
you're
What's
using
the
your position of power to market something as valuable to your, your little head
Here's a
idiot
question:
little
Has
people.
President Trump profited on the Trump coin?
Yeah, absolutely.
Then it has value.
Okay, for him specifically.
So-
Okay,
so wait,
all right,
hold on,
no,
no,
he has-
That's a terrible point. So Donald Trump scamming his people for a coin that has no value has value for Trump because he scammed people with something that has no value. The way that Michael Knowles tried to fucking weasel his way by misinterpreting the overall point that was made there is disgusting. It's nasty work. Yeah, MF Doom is a rapper.
No, wait, he admitted he
stole a bunch of money from his friends.
and he's profited.
listen to his
He's
music
profited on
first.
business
All right,
dealings
we'll get
while in
back- we'll
office.
get back to
He's
something.
profited on
Next
business
question.
dealings while in office.
I guess I would just say a similar thing of like I feel like the problem is
I need some-
Trump commit, which I
Or
agree
is
with
that
a lot of what you say
UNC
about Trump.
ball action or
But
Uncle ball
Trump does something corrupt, and so Democrats say he's the problem, and then vice versa. And so why
action? Yeah, RBN.
you're saying let's have an open investigation into the Minnesota thing, but then you're poo-pooing Nick Shirley, you're pooing the
Because he's not a
almond
federal
manufacturer.
investigator.
Sure, but is that not telling that it took him to reveal it because federal investigators didn't?
It
Hold on,
didn't take him to reveal it.
he
They
didn't
were
take him to reveal it at all. As Michael's talks about with feeding our future, yeah, that was a fraud scandal that happened, and that was investigated, and that was found. So it didn't take Nick Shirley to do this. Nick Shirley just came along with his camera and claimed that somehow this is indicative of
There's
some
$100
larger
million
fraud
in
scheme,
daycare fraud too, so it's less than Feed Our Future, but it's
Which-
pretty significant.
which is being investigated right now.
Yeah.
So how are you claiming that these things have already happened when
Do
the
you-
investigations have not come through?
Do you think that
finalized?
it's good for journalists to pursue facts?
I think it's crazy to call Nick Shirley a journalist.
I don't know. I think he's a better journalist than the New York Times.
I'm sure you do,
about the
Michael.
daycare
There we
centers
go.
before Nick Shirley made it, and
No violence, Patty. We can no violence.
now Tim Walz is stepping
where-
down from re-election.
Fair
Has that not had an effect?
enough.
I mean, we can talk about many things that led to Tim Walz not seeking re-election. I mean, I'll agree with you once. I think being on the failing vice presidential ticket isn't exactly a ringing endorsement of you continuing to run the state. So I'm not, in terms of political realities here, I might agree with that. I also think the fact that Tim Walz's family was being just being insanely harassed there in terms of literally people going to his house and screaming the word retard at his son. Okay, I'm sure you think that's funny, but I actually do think it's pretty vile a vile thing to do.
Do you think
that
President
someone's
Trump's family has been harassed at all over the last 10 years?
Yeah, and I don't support people going
Okay,
after his
all right.
children or something like that, or going after making up these stories that his granddaughter is gay. I think that's a bad thing to
Is that
do.
a story?
It is. No, I think
Michael, it's
people were
completely unfair because Trump lives in like a penthouse and you can't scream retard from the ground floor.
New York is very
We
small.
need to make Tim Walz in a skyscraper, put his family up, and then it'll be even ground. And then I'm okay with it.
Tim Walz has taken enough taxpayer money. I'm not sure that we need to put him up in a penthouse. Do we have another question?
Hi, guys. This isn't a question. This is just a comment. I think it's a little disingenuous, Oliver, that you read that list of all the Americans
Catholics
who were supposedly
names.
committing fraud.
Yeah, sorry about the facts.
Yeah, we have to deal with their nonsense and whatever means that we deal with it. But these Somalis, they're coming over and they're committing the fraud. They are not Americans. They come from a different country and they bring their garbage with them.
Yeah.
Somalis are Americans. Most of the Somalis in Minnesota are American citizens. Oh, they speak. They sound different. They look different, so they're not Americans. Right. Even though they have the status of Americans, but okay, whatever. Let me just make something up because I'm a racist piece of shit. Okay, sure, whatever.
We don't have duty to deal with their nonsense.
Hold on? What do you mean we don't have to deal with their nonsense
Because they're from a different country.
Hold on,
we
they're
know
not
nothing.
citizens.
do you think people who we're not even talking about illegal immigrants versus legal immigrants? Do you think someone who's a legal immigrant who's here?
They're not necessarily.
Wait, a majority of the Somali, a majority of the Somali population is legal immigrants that came over from the Somali Civil War, which, by the way, we exacerbated. So
Hold on,
no, these
sir.
are not.
We exacerbated. Give me a break.
We dropped a big fucking helicopter in there and then killed a bunch of them.
Yeah, they need to stop committing terrorism. They need to
We
stop
say
destabilizing their
there's
free
a
country.
civil war. There are two factions. This is not. Oh, all the Somalis are just shooting at stuff. It's a bunch of turmoil that we exacerbated. A bunch of immigrants came fleeing the violence. The people that weren't shooting at us. Now they are integrated into our society, and now you're saying, oh well, they're not Americans. They're literally American.
Is it your contention that the Somali Civil War, which we aided in, we provided aid, is your and lost personnel because of it? Is your contention that Somalia didn't experience mass violence before 1991?
No.
It was a functioning country.
No, my contention is
That's a
that
different
something
claim,
that we
Michael.
exacerbated and allowed people to come in to flee that violence.
No,
Part
we
of which-
allowed them in.
Part of which was because of us. Are integrated into our society.
You can finish your sentence if you want.
They're American citizens. They're not immigrants. They're not
literally not
A
citizens.
majority of them are citizens.
Right.
The majority of them are citizens. He's just fucking lying. He's just lying. This is just not true. The majority of people in Minnesota are Somalians, are American citizens. And the fact that we're saying otherwise really shows you how big it is. A lot of these people are. It's ridiculous. There's a level of entitlement. It is. America is a great country. I know they want to gatekeep it because of it, but it's disgusting. I think everyone of us love each other here. I have some good people here that show up consistently. Brian is good. He's not a bad faith. He's not as crazy as a lot of some people that be showing up. And and today I was in a battle with a lefty, not Kyson, but in Reddit I was battling a lefty and I was cooking the shit out of that lefty because they were getting pissed for no fucking reason. It was so stupid. Leave that truth out. I don't know what that means. What are you saying over here? Just kicking the floor. I'm playing some Madden over here. It helps me stay focused. I was convicted once for aggravated battery and got 3 years of probation. Am I legally allowed to own a 9mm in Texas? I don't know. What are the Texas laws? I'm pretty positive if you're a criminal, you can't have a gun, but I don't know Texas state laws.
Okay, so we have to decide who won that
definitely not.
round.
My chat gets insane.
The Somalis lost that round. There's no doubt about that. Was it the soy pill?
Blue or red?
Wow,
Blue or red?
was-
Hold your paddles.
Was it Oliver? Oh yeah, blue and red. That's right.
Blue or red?
Of course, they're going to cheer for you.
Was it the
What
Lips?
is this?
Jack's shirt.
I don't
Who
give a
was the
fuck.
best?
Some cheer.
There's
Yeah.
a
This is such a like circle jerk that Michael Knowles needs the satisfaction of some dumb drunk assholes in a bar. Like, I don't give a fuck about their opinions, Pastor. But some call me a cult. Just left at that. No time to hate. Fair, Brian. For someone who's been as pleasant as Brian has been, I will refrain from being mean to you, Brian. Anytime I cook mega, you are not included. Okay? I always think that. Brian is an individual that's actually pretty good faith, not gonna lie. Someone said Zionist. Where did that come from? Oh, Knowles?
there's a more important decision to make. Who was the best questioner
We're
of that
cool,
round who
Brian.
gets to go to the VIP table?
Ooh.
Not gonna
Man,
lie,
I would
they
say
were
the second
both
guy.
trash.
The second guy seemed very good faith. He's like, I acknowledge what you're saying.
Yeah,
And
it's too nice.
He was,
Yeah.
no, but that's what we need right now. We've got
We
an
should get him a little
oppositional-
drunker so he's more angry.
That's fair.
Yeah,
Yes,
okay.
get him down
You
to the
get it.
VIP, yeah.
Second guy, you're going to the VIP table.
Second guy.
There we
The
go.
beautiful
Congrats,
Molly and
second
Mayflower
guy.
cigars. Redneck Riviera. Okay. Now, you're going to enjoy your delicious Redneck Riviera whiskey. And you know what I'm going to enjoy? Z-Biotics. That's what I'm going to enjoy. Folks, right now, if you go to zbiotics.com/barfight, you will find out that after a night with drinks, people don't always bounce back the next day like they should. 8 nights converted into for night early. So right now,
Get that open. That might be an apple.
this
There we
is
go.
Pure America by Washington State Park.
Oh,
Delicious.
wow.
We
What was
haven't
the vaccine? No, was it the? Are
Netflix.
you doing
Yeah.
Netflix? Who says
Gotta be
Netflix? Okay.
Wow, that's a really good.
You know
prompt.
whose topic that was? Can you take it?
This guy right here.
All right. Netflix turned Will gay. I think this point is beyond dispute because Netflix made this show and one of the characters is Will and they made him gay. Now, they might have made the actor gay. We don't know. He worked for the company for a long time. But what is also, I think, beyond dispute is they very likely made other people gay. And the reason for this is that LGBT identity is not merely a matter of hereditary, born this way, immutable characteristics. It's also a social phenomenon. Gallup showed that between 2012 and 2021, LGBT identity doubled in the United States. It's actually gone up even more since then. 30% of Gen Z now identifies as LGBT, which means there's either something in the water, or there are a lot of people in the closet for all of history, or,
Wait till you find out how many
there's something
left-handed
going
people there
on
are
in our popular culture. Now, what's really strange about this is that we know that LGBT identity is not merely determined by genetics. We know this because
Queers are weird. He said there's a lot of people in history that we didn't know that was gay. That's just true. A lot of people clearly didn't want to reveal they were gay back in history. Obviously, you would die. Like, obviously, you didn't want to reveal you were gay back in the history. Yeah, that's just like a clear and easy to understand fact.
of some twin studies, which measure all sorts of diverse outcomes for twins, including same-sex attraction, found that there's only a 20 to 37%.
I don't remember any of this in Stranger Things. What do you?
You learned a lot from that
season
show,
4. No
This
one
is
watched
season
it.
4.
Yeah.
That's pretty
Well, actually,
wild.
look this up. I was surprised you picked this.
Hold on,
So-
let me finish my argument.
Well, you
So,
just want to rant
only
about gay
20
people. Let's talk about Will.
Hold on,
That's
hold on.
specific
We'll
gay
get to
guy.
Will.
I think all
Only,
Will
it shows
should be
that
made gay.
twin
actually,
studies show that LGBT identity, same-sex attraction, is only 20 to 37% correlated with heredity.
It's better in the closet. Probably don't care. If you don't care, then why are you bitching about it? If 2 guys and 2 girls kiss, who cares? If you don't give a fuck, then stop bitching about it. Simple.
Which means that there are other cultural factors
who
here.
cares?
And there's one really funny study on this that came out of the Center for the Study of Partisanship and Ideology. And it found that in the last, really between 2008 and 2018 or so, LGBT identity rose at twice the rate as actual LGBT behavior. And among young
How do you
girls,
define that?
they
Wait,
were meaning
people
they said-
identifying versus behavior.
meaning they don't do
Oh,
gay stuff.
It's like
They say they're
gay
gay,
people,
but they don't do
gay stuff.
Yeah. And among young liberals, I'm not saying you guys, but among young liberals, they were 3 to 4 times as likely to say that they were gay, even if they just did straight stuff, which means that there's a social contagion here. You saw this especially with rapid onset gender dysphoria, 1,500% increase in adolescent girls saying that they had gender dysphoria over a 10-year period. So there's
I do think it's a social phenomenon that has been perpetuated due to social media. Like, I agree to that. Doesn't make being gay wrong, but I do think I've said this before The LGBTQ movement just provided a space for those who did not belong to belong. And I am empathetic to that. It's the same thing why all these white young males who started feeling abandoned decided to become red pill and fucking women haters and Nazis. It's the same principle. Women hater Nazis didn't know where white guys didn't have anywhere to belong, so they became women hating Nazis. I repeated myself twice just so I made myself clear.
There's a social factor. Netflix made Will gay. They might have made the actor gay, and they probably made other people gay too. Take it away.
All right, so no, if you look this up, this is really interesting. It's like slam dunk, like you can't even prove. Like Netflix got the script that was given to them. And if you read the script before they even touched it, Will was gay in the script.
I don't give a fuck about this problem. Netflix is gay is one of the stupidest things I've ever heard. What are we talking about? I've been on Choose It. Something traumatic happened to feel that. For people of gender dysphoria, a lot of gender dysphoria is in relation to childhood trauma. Like that's just factually true. It's a queen. Hey, queen, if you're gay, you're gay. Hey, to each their own. I'm not gay. I love women a lot. I'm definitely not gay. This has existed since the beginning of time. Facts. Like low key, if you think about it, isn't Adam gay? Like Adam removed the part of his body to create Eve. So wouldn't that just be him getting with someone that's part of his body? Wouldn't he just be getting with another? You know what I'm saying? It's either gay or incest. It's something. It's one of the two. Oh, I just pissed off some Christians there. Alexander the Great was bi, was he? I never looked that up. But the Republicans crashed Grindr, such a crazy. The Republicans be having some crazy gay orgies. Donald Trump sucked off Bubba. So Republicans are way gayer than they try to make it seem. Michael Knowles is a closeted gay guy. Let's be clear. You ain't looking like Michael. You ain't looking like this, and you're not a closeted gay guy. Let's be honest about things, all right? This dude definitely likes some things in his mouth. Definitely gay. Wow, we're down. Hey, man, I'm just saying. In the culture I'm native, so we talk about two-spirit people. There are people that have two spirits, one a man and one a woman. That's a very interesting perspective. Gay? Why are you talking about ticks? You don't know the context of the conversation going on, 46.
And they probably made other people gay too. Take it away.
All right, so no, if you look this up, it's really interesting because it's like slam dunk, like you can't even prove. Like Netflix got the script that was given to them. And if you read the script before they even touched it, Will was gay in the script.
In season one?
Before it was sold to Netflix, the script he was gay. In season one, he's gay. That's why
he's not gay in season one.
He's absolutely gay in season one.
Gay
let me, I can cite, look, so his mom says he's not like the other kids, you know, his dad calls him queer and what can I say? I can't say the F word on it.
You can say it if you want. It's a right-wing audience.
Yeah, you know, we're on
maybe not the
his dad called him fag, his dad called him queer. The other kid, one of the police officers says he was probably killed by some other queer. He's been bullied for being.
I don't watch Stranger Things, so I have no idea what they're talking about. So for all you Stranger Things fans, hopefully you're enjoying this. Might have to skip it.
Being gay since the first episode of the show. He's been gay the whole time. Now, I will grant you this. The scene in season 5 where he comes out was very fucking corny. Like, that was the worst come out scene I've ever seen. And I am a pro-gay person. Yeah. That was awful. You know, just like, it was like the Lord of the Rings scene where they're like, in my accent, I also support you for being gay. And I was like, all right, this is a little much. But he's been gay the whole time. He's been gay before Netflix even touched it. So as someone who knows that Netflix can make a lot of people gay, this is one of the few times where they just kept him gay. If anything, they were too subtle because you didn't even notice.
So my gaydar was a little off, and you know, I don't know.
Oh, that is, you know, soyfield cooking. It's perceptive, but hey, if that's what gets you off, hey, nothing wrong. Facts. Republicans are cool with lesbians, but not, you know, right? They love themselves some lesbians, but you know, now it's a man, he can't be gay. They all dream about threesomes. Fuck out.
From New York and LA, and I went to a gay university.
I was going to say, Michael, I really appreciate you giving us the opportunity to talk about gay representation in media. We start from House of Shades here. Michael Knowles.
Yeah.
You haven't seen him there. I actually decided to look it up and watch it. I unfortunately decided to. It's on YouTube. I watched it on the plane. That was a mistake. When you came on in a blue thong, that really threw the kid up next to me there. So I just want to say, Michael, you think a lot about people being gay in shows, and you know,
this is kind of my point. You know, I was an actor as a young man, and you know, you play a baseball player, no one thinks you're an athlete. You play a soldier, no one thinks you're G.I. Joe. You play one half gay guy, and they call you a Fanuc for the rest of your life. But I want you to know that was a Yale thesis film, and that's
Michael Knowles is definitely gay. Of course, he had the choice to play that role. He wanted to. He could play. He can try to tiptoe around it as much as he wants. He wanted to play that role.
The most heterosexual thing ever produced by Yale University.
But Michael, the problem was, no offense, your acting was really bad.
No,
if you were a better actor, you wouldn't be here doing this bar fight show.
By
And
the
the
way, let
one
me tell you
convincing thing in that whole film was how much you were coming onto that guy. That was the only thing I thought was like, wow, that looks like, and I'm in the Bay Area, that looks like a gay guy being interested in another
Hold on,
guy.
I have expert witness on this. I heard from a friend of mine, Milo Yiannopoulos, who was gay, and now he's not really gay anymore.
And he's still gay.
No, but Milo, no, he's not. He doesn't do it. He's got a whole counter to that.
Yeah.
But Milo wrote to me. He said, Michael, I want you to know, as someone who has experience with this, your performance as a homosexual was entirely unconvincing. So, as someone, look, I tap dance, I play ukulele, I like Cole Porter.
I was gonna say,
I'm telling you, I'm trying to put myself in the position of sympathizing with the LGBTs, and what I'm saying is a lot of it is kind of fake.
So I think a pretty big problem with this too, and Michael likes to cite this idea of like, oh my God, like LGBTQ identity has exploded over the past.
Are you doing the
years.
gay accent right now when you're imitating Michael?
I mean, I could, you know,
that just came out accidentally
maybe.
with him. I think.
You know, maybe you might have to show me some conversion therapy methods that got you where you are. But I think that if we're talking about
listen to this homophobia from this liberal.
No, I'm saying, you know,
you scratch the lips beneath the surface. This guy's using the word fag. This guy's making homophobic jokes. I kind of like it.
Yeah, that works. But I think it's really interesting. And if you want to claim that there's like some social contagion element to what's going on, I wouldn't even necessarily entirely disagree with you there. I do think that, for example, like, you know, if a couple people, you know, I think it's
very reasonable of you to say. I'm very surprised.
However, you can't only attribute it to social contagion because societal acceptance can also be a huge part of this. For example, this is a really interesting thing I like to bring up when people bring up the statistics of how many people now identify as gay. Do you know how many people identified as being left-handed in the 1950s? Very few.
Yeah.
It was not that many at all. And after teachers stopped beating students for being left-handed, they actually started being okay being left-handed and living that identity. So I think claiming that somehow, oh, now there's more gay people, therefore it's only due to the fact that it's become way more, you know, fashionable or trendy to do so, just overlooks the fact that we live in a society that now gay marriage is legal.
That's a very good analogy. Don't be honest. It's a very good analogy. And it makes a lot of sense. Of course, you want to keep a secret if there's harm to you. A secret is something that you want to keep to protect yourself. Now it's not a danger where your life is on the line. Wow, that's fast talk. Kevin, I have it on 1.25 speed. I apologize, but my brain is broken. I need it a little bit faster. You feel me?
Actually, Michael doesn't believe it exists. It does.
It's legal,
but
it doesn't exist.
Oh, yeah, it's legal and it doesn't exist. Yeah,
but hold on, but you admit. So you would say there is a social contagion aspect. You don't think 30% of people are gay.
30% of people are gay of Gen Z.
30% of Zoomers. You don't think it's 30% are gay.
If we're talking about gay, do we mean like people who are only same-sex attracted, or are we talking about bisexuals too?
The whole rainbow.
Whole rainbow? I think it'd be possible that 30% of people would also be bisexual. I'm not saying just gay. I'm not saying just gay.
Wait, I need to know like how the stat was calculated. Like, are there reformed gays like you, or is it just people that are still gay?
I am not a homosexual. Thank you very much.
That's what reformed.
Yo, soy Phil. Nah, soy Phil, you got it. You're getting a clip for that one. That was hilarious. How do you calculate the gays? Do you are they reformed? Okay, soy Phil. That was witty. I like that.
Oh, you're not?
No, he said he was a homosexual.
He said he's not. There we go.
It's amazing. These guys are just up here gay bashing me. I got a wife and 3 kids. Thank you very much. We turn to the audience.
Good cover.
Michael, I guess the question I have for you is, was this seriously a real topic you wanted to address? Because who cares? People are gay. And Will being a gay character on a show, like we've had gay characters in movies and TV shows for years, decades.
Since at least you were in college.
Yeah, at least you were in college.
Yo, Soyfield's cooking the fuck out of Michael Knowles right now. Imagine doing shrooms and this going 2 times 2. Oh, cooked.
So I'm just curious why not bring up something of substance that's not just about television?
Well, I'll remind you, you all voted for this topic. And this is what the libs always do. I have this
4 to 5% of gay people that exist. Probably. I don't know the statistic. 30
they push something. They change the social norms, be it with regard to transgenderism or homosexuality or feminism or anything else. They change the social norms. They run massive campaigns for it. And then the minute you look at that and you say, hey, that's kind of weird. Why are you doing that? They say, why do you care so much? And I say, well, you obviously care. You're the one who changed the norms. And I think in this case, look, obviously there have been sort of foppish or effeminate characters in theater going back to like Euripides. But, this is a little bit different. When it's a kid's show, you're representing kids in these sexualized ways, in deviant and aberrant ways. I mean, we're all making gay jokes and stuff up here.
Stranger Things is a kid show? Is it really? Kid show is like dragging it. It's not SpongeBob. Like, what are we doing? Conservative POV I could respect. Very, very, very much so.
But this is kind of weird. Same-sex identity or same-sex attraction and transgender identity especially is associated with a whole host of terrible psychological and social outcomes. And so it just doesn't seem like a great thing.
Will was portrayed sexually in season 5?
Yeah, I think referring to his sexual desires as a kid. You're the one who said in season 1. I think that's a little weird.
If I say I'm into women, this is sexual. Just
if I say I'm straight, is that inherently sexual?
I think if you're talking about a 5-year-old's sexual desires or 10-year-olds or 12-year-olds, I think it's weird and creepy.
Yeah, Will is like 17 on the show.
By the way, Michael,
in season 1, he wasn't saying I'm gay.
I just have to bring up, Michael, you said kid shows.
Be gay when you're
Stranger Things is not
also not a
kid show. It's horror and adult theme.
Wait, I got to push back. It's for babies. It's written horribly. Like,
it's
a terrible show.
And it was inspired
because he's gay, by the way.
And it was inspired by Stephen King's works, and I don't think kids are reading Stephen King, or they should be, or at least.
You don't think?
Have you read it?
You don't think kids like Stranger Things? And you
I'm sure
even if it's only adults looking at it,
that's a dog shit point. Just because kids like Stranger Things doesn't make it a kid's show. Stop saying stupid shit, Michael Knowles. Stop. Riddell, glad to catch up. Got to get some sleep for tomorrow. God bless, my friend. Hey, Brian, you have a good one as well. Shout out Brian. He might be MAGA, but he's actually a pretty good dude. You can from what it seems like at the very least, he's pretty kosher.
Kid calling himself gay, I think that's even creepier. And my only point is, it's obviously a social contagion. You saw most especially with the transgender ideology, which is why a 1,500% increase in adolescent girls saying they have gender dysphoria in like 10 years is absurd. There's obviously something going on. And maybe we can just acknowledge that fact and try to do something about it to discourage it rather than encourage it.
And do you agree that it's possible, at least, that there could be some acceptance aspect to it? There's a certain demographic of people who are gay, and you can acknowledge them as being gay. And there might be some people who are like, oh, wow, oh my God, I'm going to a camp with all girls, and now one of them has she, they pronouns. Now everyone has she, they pronouns. Yeah, like I understand that can happen. Now, how detrimental it really is once everyone goes home and figures
Can
it
you
out.
Also argue that it became less acceptable to be straight?
No,
yeah, definitely.
What?
No, I did actually. Well, that's based on that study that I just cited of straight guys, and especially liberal ones who are in the Rainbow Coalition, trying to pretend that they're LGBT. I think that's proof.
Look, Michael, men have been lying to fuck women for the entirety of history. Okay, that's not new.
Right, but it's weird that they're lying that they're gay.
Is that a thing? I don't believe that's a thing. At the very least, I don't believe that's a thing in a substantial statistic. Oh my God, I'm stuttering. 10:44. I've been talking forever. That's why.
In order to get with that's like a change. And anyway, I think that's why it's worth noting is sex is very important to human nature. And when you massively upheave all of sexual identity, that's a notable phenomenon.
It's not massively upheaved though.
I do have a question about this topic, sort of. But first, I want to say or point out that it does make all the difference in the world with regard to the previous topic.
Oh, he's going back to immigration.
Yeah, we're going to go back to immigration.
You were the one screaming at the table over there, weren't you?
I was, and I ran out of time on the last one, so I got told to come up to the mic.
We can go back.
Yeah, we're going to go back.
Go for it.
The point is that it does make all the difference in the world. The fact that it doesn't matter if they are here legally, they are not citizens.
No, they are citizens.
No.
This guy's just a dumbass. He's actually fucking retarded. Just because they are here legally doesn't make them citizens. They are fucking citizens. They didn't say that they were also being a legal immigrant makes you a fucking citizen. That was just fucking stupid. But they didn't say that they were just like here for different reasons. They said they were U.S. citizens. U.S. citizens. It's just fucking stupid. Fucking stupid.
Calm down.
Any of those things is not a citizen. If they are a citizen, then the Constitution applies.
No.
They are a citizen.
I have to address this. No.
The Constitution protects.
Do you think the Constitution only applies to citizens? Yes or no?
Yes. Absolutely.
We have a lot of people. Who don't know the Constitution very well in this country.
There are 2 centuries of case law to support that.
Yeah, but no, it actually doesn't. Excuse me, sir. What is the Fifth Amendment to the United States Constitution? Tell me what it is. Tell me what it is. You guys know all about that. Anyone out here? What's the Fifth Amendment to the United States Constitution?
Thou shalt not kill, right? Is that no? I'm
sorry. You get confused with
the
confused with the commandments. What's the Fifth Amendment?
Ask him.
No, you know what's the Fifth Amendment?
Are you're asking me?
Yeah, because you're a citizen, so maybe you should know this stuff about it.
Which, by the way, all the Somali legal absolutely know it.
Well, if you have to become a naturalized citizen, you have to learn a lot more.
Yes, well, you actually probably know.
less about this country than someone who gets
And
naturalized.
he's entitled to more of a right to be
The
American citizen.
the point that I'm bringing up here when we talk about the Fifth Amendment is the Fifth Amendment states that no person shall be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. It does not clarify citizens. There are specific rights that are reserved to citizens. Due process is not one of them.
Right, that's why the Somalis are being prosecuted right now.
And it is very important that everyone has due process, because if not everyone has due process, then none of us have due process. Because someone can say that you're not a citizen, and if you don't have recourse to fight that in the courts, you're.
So hold on, you're right that it's the Somalis have due process.
Thank you.
But the point that if we don't give due process to random Somalis, none of the American citizens yes we could. Why not?
Hold on.
Why couldn't we just say we give it to the citizens?
How do you know whether they're a random Somali or they are someone who has either legal protected status or a citizen?
Identity.
Oh, cool. And how do you verify their identity?
You check their ID card.
You check their ID and their immigration status. Who does that?
The government.
The government. So you're trusting the government to have unchecked power and to police itself.
We trust the government to enact our due process.
Hold on. And that's due process. And having the government and having the courts oversee that.
Right.
What if ICE comes up
and you trust the government to conduct trials?
I think you're undermining your own argument. I trust the government to conduct trials more than I trust the government to not conduct trials. Okay, if we're going to have trial or not have trial.
I don't know if I follow that.
Who else is in charge? I'm not subject to the Constitution of France.
I don't know enough about the France.
If you were in France.
A couple things.
It's about the people in America. The Constitution of America is about American
It applies to people who are in America. But first off, I don't know enough about the French Constitution, nor that's the case. But look how many American flags I have on me. I think America's better.
The lady dogs protest too much, I think.
One of the things that makes America better than other countries is the fact that we extend the rights of our constitutions to all individuals.
This guy's going crazy today. He's on top of things. You got a smoking gun, man. He's a talker.
Who reside within this country, regardless of protected status, because that's actually what determines whether you are a citizen or have protected status. If you don't have due process, you do not have recourse to fight a government that tells you that you are somehow now not a citizen.
Just as a point of fact, due process did not make me or anyone in this room a citizen.
Wait, I didn't say that.
In that way?
I didn't say that. I said it determines whether you're a citizen, and there's no way for. Yes, it does. Because if someone picks you up, if ICE picks you up off the street and says you are not a citizen, we are going to deport you, and you don't automatically have a right to contest that in court. What are they going to do?
Yeah, I know you identify as white, Michael, but you could pass as some sort of Southern American.
The Sicilians are racially liminal people.
And the only way to make sure that you are a citizen is due process, which we're all entitled to, citizen or not. No.
No, I don't. I've been practicing my Guki Gikigaka Han Solo, but I don't have the Somali language either. Yes.
Anyway, I'd trade that guy for like 5 Somalians.
Can I bring it back to Netflix for 1 second?
Can you do what for 1 second?
Back to Netflix for 1 second?
Yeah, okay.
Bring it back.
So I know that it's a pretty big push that Netflix is making Will gay is a win for the left, but it's odd that
who
said it's a win for the left?
Who the hell is saying, oh, good, finally we have the Will coming out? Everyone hated that.
Queer representation.
He's been gay since season 1. That's when they celebrated.
What I was going to point out was that the fact that the main gay.
I want us to be very clear. This is a Netflix original movie. That's fucking good as shit. Hold on, what is it called? Here's a movie. Let me, I'll pull up Rotted, and I hopefully get to a part 2. Like, these guys are tweaking, all right? This movie right here, Nimona, is a fucking banger. This movie is great. It is so good. And you know what it features? A gay protagonist. It's a good fucking movie. So stop tweaking. If anybody's going to praise, oh, we got a good character, you better praise it to this movie because this movie's so freaking good. It's not about him being gay, but it's just about this girl who's a great protagonist in the story. They're both main characters. So I'm not going to spoil you. But they're not praising Netflix for Stranger Things. They're praising Netflix for fucking Nimona, which is a great movie. Jesus. These people don't know ball.
The character in the show is the one that has a demon inside of it.
Yeah, he was traumatized by a demon for his whole life.
Yeah, well, to be fair, he was gay before the demon, and the demon didn't make him.
Comic books have had gay characters for decades.
You're right. Is this
let me think of, I don't even know. There's no, I know there's characters that got turned gay. I'm trying to think of like a traditionally gay character. There's definitely ones that are bi. I can't think of one that's traditionally gay off the top of my head. Not gonna lie. Comic books are very traditionally progressive. They've done a lot of progressive things in comic books to push the needle and push their storytelling.
The Straussian reading of Netflix, that is like a super based trad homophobic read of how you become gay. Wow, crazy.
So wait, when you said Netflix turned Will gay, is that like an acknowledgement of how people become gay and that's a good thing, or you're not a fan of it?
No, well, he made me rethink. I thought it was bad, but now he's making me think it might be good. That's really thoughtful. It's tough because all right, before we pick the best commenter and questioner, first we have to figure out who won the round. Was it the libs? Raise your blue cards.
I don't give a fuck about what they think.
Round 3.
Yeah, white people.
A little more of that.
Go white people, yeah.
What do we think? This is a very gay show. Are we going to do? Is the gay marriage one?
Well, Michael talks a lot about
all right.
So.
Okay, that's fine. Okay. So whose topic was that?
Which one?
Well, you changed all the topics.
You read it. You're right. You read it. I was trying to.
Mine was if God hated gay people, He wouldn't keep making them. Gay marriage exists whether you like it or not, and if you don't like it, you can leave.
Okay. So very interesting. Those are 2 topics.
They are 2 topics.
Which one do you want to focus?
We can focus more on the second one. The first one we didn't talk about.
Okay, so the topic is
the topic is that gay marriage does in fact exist, no matter how much Michael wants to pretend that it doesn't. And yeah, that if you don't like it, then I don't know, be in one of those countries that doesn't support gay marriage that you guys also seemingly don't like. Iran.
Okay,
Iran. You guys fans of Iran, fans of the Middle East. I don't know. Not much gay marriage going on in those countries.
So what's the argument?
What my argument here is basically that Michael likes to do this thing where he makes a very.
About me or it's about gay marriage?
Am I responding to Michael Knowles and the arguments that Michael Knowles has made, or
I don't know. Are you?
I'm going to do that actually. Okay. So when we're talking specifically about the arguments that Michael makes, what he likes to do is he likes to define what marriage is very specifically to involve a marriage that is or a relationship that is ordered towards procreation and sex. I think that is a very myopic view of marriage that doesn't encapsulate many marriages that people exist in and have happy relationships with. So what Michael's probably going to do is he'll be like, well, if it's not sex, what is it? And I'm like, well, it's a partnership, and he'll like pretend.
I don't even need to be here.
Yeah, you don't need to be here. I'm going to debate for you. It's going to be great. You can just listen. So basically, my argument that I'm making here is that gay marriage exists. Michael can argue in some esoteric sense that it doesn't, because even though people have been legally recognized as being married, they in fact did. We can get into, if you want, your bullshit studies about how like it's bad for children when literally only 2 out of the 238 children who were studied in that actually had 2.
Gay sex is gross. Why do you care about if people who are gay have sex? Do you watch it? Is that something you look at? Is that, I mean, maybe you go at night, you watch some gay porn, you jack your meat, you go crazy. It's like, oh my God, you have the greatest orgasm ever. And then you're like, oh my goodness, that was super gross. Maybe that's what you're thinking. They watch it. Definitely gay. He's bouncing on every syllable. Who? This guy?
Long-term homosexual parents. We're studying the 2012 regenerate study that you bring up from the new family structure study.
What about the 1996 study out of Australia, the 2013 study out of Canada?
I'm talking about the one that you bring up most frequently. We can talk about the other ones.
I bring up a dozen of them.
You bring up this one specifically. So I'm more talking about the marriage is a complex thing, and it can mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people. And the fact that gay people want to get married isn't a threat to your straight marriage. If it is, your marriage isn't that strong in the first place.
Okay, I'm willing to interject in this debate you're having with me through you. It's true that kids don't do well with same-sex parents, but that's actually secondary to your point, which is gay marriage exists. I guess my argument is gay marriage does.
I'm pretty sure they don't do well with lesbian parents, but I think with gay dads, they do statistically well. Let me look it up.
Doesn't really exist in the way that a square circle doesn't really exist. A lawmaker could come out and say, I passed the square circle law. And a judge could come out and say, we defend protections for square circles. But nevertheless, square circles would not exist. And so it seems to me it is intrinsic to the nature of marriage that it's a union between a man and a woman ordered towards procreation and education of children. My evidence for this is that is what distinguishes marriage from other kinds of relationships, friends, siblings, roommates, all the rest, coworkers. But furthermore,
AIDS. Oh, he's saying gay sex is gross because of AIDS. Straight sex is gross because of AIDS too, because straight people get AIDS as well. Fuck. Grinders overloaded during conservative conventions. Facts. Lesbian couples specifically the most violent. That's what I am pretty sure I saw somewhere.
Or some of my evidence is that is how marriage. Well, the word matrimony comes from the Latin word mater, which means mother. So it's facially absurd for 2 men to be in a matrimony. There's no lady there. But then my historical evidence would be that throughout all of human history, every single place in the entire world, marriage has always meant the union of a man and a woman for these purposes. And that only began to change in 2001 in the Netherlands, and then 14 years later in the United States. And I think they probably just got it wrong. It seems to me that if marriage does not mean what we have always understood everywhere across religions, across cultures, if we don't understand what it means, then marriage just loses its meaning. It is no different from a dating relationship or a business partnership or any other kind of relationship. So you don't end up expanding marriage, you abolish marriage altogether.
I want to respond to that in multiple ways. One, so you're focused a lot on this idea that it's ordered towards the procreation of children. And this idea, I'm sure, if we're talking specifically, let's say that a couple decides that they never want to have children. Let's say they even both get a hysterectomy, or not both get a hysterectomy.
Well, that'd be a little weird.
If they become infertile, if they both become infertile or have those procedures done, and they get married, would you support that marriage even existing? Because it can't be procreative. It literally can't ever. It's still between a man and a woman, but it removes that aspect. Are you just against that type of marriage?
I suppose, if a couple merely suffers infertility, that obviously would not contradict the definition of marriage as being ordered toward procreation and the education of children. But if a couple goes in, they say, we're going to get married, but we never...
All right, I'm trying to look for a quick chart. I don't feel like reading an entire study. I just want to confirm. I'm going to keep on playing this because I'm playing fucking Madden right now. Hold on.
Want to have children. We both want to get hysterectomies or whatever. And so we don't want that. I would say at a very, very deep level, that is contrary to the nature of marriage. So but because
can I get married?
Are you making an ontological?
I'm happy to.
He is making an ontological argument.
Yeah, I am touching on ontology because it's about what it really is.
You should explain it.
But how do you do that though? Like, how are you going to make an ontological argument about marriage if how we define marriage naturally in all these societies is how we come to a union with people and they make an agreement?
Well, that's not
how do you go beyond that?
Well, with ontology, I guess. Speaking about nature. So the question, you're using a very fancy word, ontological, meaning pertaining to the nature of being or what it really is. And I suppose the disagreement here is many people who support so-called same-sex marriage think that words can mean whatever we say they mean, kind of like Humpty Dumpty and Alice in Wonderland.
Michael. Yeah.
So there's a few things I want to address there because I do think there's some food for thought that people do not consider. But before we get into there, let me look at this study real quick. Because I just scored a touchdown to Jalen Hyatt, New York Giants fan. All right. So this study, growing up with parents, what is the big deal? Blah, blah. Fathers excel when it comes to providing discipline, pay, and challenges. Fathers, Canadian, which analyzed data from very large part, revealed that children of gay and lesbian couples are only about 65% as likely to have graduated from high school as are the children married from opposite sex couples. Struggle academically with the boys, blah, blah. Compare the social development 50. What's this study showing? No harmful. Official retail, which include not a single study is found. Two-parent family. It was the parents who provided the date, which consists of some judgment. Change this hand. No. Interesting. Why don't we? Oh, so this one doesn't really. Okay. All right. Let me continue from here. Keep on looking.
Evolve over time. You're like, words mean whatever you want them to mean. They kind of
can't mean whatever you say.
Well,
they can evolve.
Is the distinction for marriage just if you intend to have kids? So like, no? What is that?
So to answer your earlier question, which is a very good question, if a couple goes in and they say, we don't want children or we don't think we want children or whatever, as a matter of the civil law, which has to be a little bit broader than the purest form of ontology, say, I would say, yeah, that's fine because the union of a man and a woman in itself is ordered toward the procreation because they can bump uglies and that's, birds do it, bees do it. So I would err on the side of race there. When we're talking about things of different natures, when we're talking about not just, a liberal man and woman who want to go to brunch more often, but like two fellas or two ladies or three guys and a billy goat, that is fundamentally different. And I think that stretches the definition of marriage beyond any coherence.
What about like the president having 3 different marriages and cheating on his wife? Is that like a more valid marriage than 2 guys who have never cheated on each other and have 2 adopted wonderful children?
Yeah, well, I'm certainly opposed to divorce. I think divorce is bad. I think it's bad that we liberalize.
You're against these. I'm going to make it very clear. You're against no-fault divorce, right? You're not against all forms of divorce?
Well, I actually don't really believe in divorce because I'm a Catholic. But as a civil matter, I guess we have to.
If that's true, why do Republicans keep getting divorced?
Why do Republicans keep getting divorced? Now, there's something interesting that I'm thinking about. I'm trying to find the study. Learning to include detail in the and I want to rewind. There's actually very interesting conversations to have here, I guess. All right. This is what I found. Parents.com. New Pew Research study shares a glimpse of what life is like for same-sex parents raising kids. 30, according to the Pew, fewer than 1% of parents are married to or living with the same-sex partner. And their experience as parents research spoke with a variety of families. Feels like typical families. Learning from the study includes detailed and emotional challenges same-sex may face when trying to become parents, including challenges, financial stress. They're pretty similar to everyone else. However, some parents flat they've had challenges when explaining to their children why they are different. Financial, legal, why do these barriers exist? How partisan find support? Okay. I couldn't find a really good study in the time allotted. I will say, clearly, for me, it's like straight parents are clearly the preferred method. However, the conversation, as brought up here by Soy Pill, raises a very interesting conversation. There are bad straight parents. Not only are there bad straight parents, there are non-existent straight parents. Not only is there non-existent straight parents, there's abandoned kids. I don't see why there's an issue with gay parents adopting kids. If a straight couple is not going to adopt a kid, then why is it a problem when the gay couple adopts a kid? If the gay couple is like objectively better suited in raising, putting in a peaceful raising environment compared to the straight couple, why is it a problem when the gay couple does it? What matters most is not the integrity of the relationship, or what matters most is not the institutional structure of the relationship that bleeds into norms that are easily explainable, such as man, woman makes child. What matters most is the kid being raised in an environment that proliferates their own success. So it dawns on me that there's an issue with gay parents when, if there are kids in adoption, or if there's kids suffering under an abusive household, them in a better environment isn't the focus. It just doesn't compute. At this point, it's more about this kind of like social stigma that you are trying to establish versus the well-being of the kids. It's stupid. It makes no sense. What are people saying? Law of privacy. People believe wrongly that it's sinful or natural. Never mind that the straight people do the same thing gays do, for sure. Facts. Just let people live. I'm 100% there with you. Because they're bad straight parents disown gay kids. Facts for sure. Grifters have to keep fighting people over their identity, for sure, 100%. All right, let's continue.
Say it again. Why do like every Republican keep getting divorced? Like Steven Crowder, like Donald Trump. Like why do they keep
very
doing
sad.
it?
I mean, look, the divorce rates have risen in recent decades because of the law, largely. So it's
hard to take your marriage.
You're blaming the law and not the
individual.
individuals.
Oh, that's not valid marriage. When I see tons of happy gay couples, you guys can't seem to hold down a wife. I mean, I'll give you like 5-10 years. I don't know.
What are you talking about?
For now, you're only 35. I mean,
yeah, it's true. I'm Catholic. The only way she gets rid of me is if she puts the pillow over my head at night. Okay, it's time to get to the audience question.
All right, here's a fun one. So I actually just got married 3-ish weeks ago.
Hey, all right.
Wait, Michael. He didn't say if it was gay.
He didn't say it was
I know.
gay or
I'm going to
not.
clarify
Yeah.
for our friends. Did you get married to a lady or
a beautiful lady?
Now we're talking. All right,
a real one.
I'm gonna have to see the chromosome chart on that one.
I'm not a fan.
So here's the fun one. Here's the fun one. Ready? My identical twin brother is as gay as the day is long.
Wow. See, that's what I was just talking about.
So we actually got in a debate the other day after we got married, because I met my wife in March. I saw her and went, wife, we dated long distance from Nashville to LA. I got her to move here.
Let's go.
And we got married real quick. And so we did start debating. And I straight up said, the difference between straight marriage and gay marriage is straight marriage is like actually marriage versus gay marriage is more of a legal definition, because there was a lot of gay couples who just wanted the benefits that the government was giving them. Yeah. But the difference is Christian.
And that doesn't apply to straight couples who want the benefits as well? Okay, what? All right, that's just okay.
Christians and religious folk believe that marriage is a thing ordained by their God, whoever's God they follow.
The real one, in my case.
Well,
if you want to define it that way. If you want to have like your special, like, well, mine's the real one, and that makes you feel better, like that's fine. Just don't ask us to pretend like the gay people aren't married. Like,
no. The reason I say God exists is because it's true and knowable by human reason.
Do you have a source for that?
Say it again.
Do you have a source?
I do actually. Aquinas' 5 ways.
Aquinas. We're talking about Aquinas.
Well,
Hold on.
nature which cries out.
No. Did you guys know Aquinas thought that rape was not as bad as masturbation? You know that's true. That because if you didn't know this, actually, I'm going to finish this point because he's a Catholic. He got some crazy things he has to defend if he's going to be a Catholic here. If we're talking specifically about Aquinas, he said that rape in circumstances is not as bad as masturbation because rape actually can be a procreative act if it's between a man and a woman. Masturbation is always a mortal sin. So I'm just curious,
why
Michael,
did you say that?
Because it's not ordered towards reproduction.
No, because it's contrary to nature.
It's contrary to nature, and rape isn't contrary to nature. So when you base it off natural law, you end up defending defending things as rape being
I would
worse
say
than
little learned
masturbation.
dangerous
So I
thing.
say,
Drink deep or taste not the Pierian spring. Plato
just gonna say that.
Plato said that seduction was worse than rape.
Yeah,
for the same kinds of reasons. Because do you agree with that?
But the difference is we don't.
I don't defend that. Do you agree with that?
Oh, he makes a very good point.
So you agree that seduction is worse than rape?
Well, the way
it's a yes or no question.
doesn't want to let me finish.
They're fucking cooking the shit out of Michael Knowles.
Is marriage from between a man and woman the same?
Oh my god, he didn't want to answer the question. Yo, they cooked the shit out of Knowles. Knowles like, please, thank God you asked the question. I couldn't answer this. I tried to do the whataboutism. It didn't work. No, fuck no. Oh, he's such a coward. He ran away. That's some bitch shit. He ran away. I wonder if they discussed the higher rates of suicide among trans kids under this admin. Definitely. Michael Knowles won't touch that. He probably would say they deserve it, to be honest.
Thing as man and man.
What do you mean same? I mean, no, it's a man and a woman and a man and a man.
So it's different. Therefore, they should be separate.
You just said
wait, hold on. They can be separate in whatever religious sense you want. No one's claiming.
No, but he's asking, are they the same? So
are they the same?
Of course they're not the same. The same way I'm not the same as him, and I'm not the same as you, and neither two marriages the same.
Okay, let me explain, because you're bringing up Thomas Aquinas, and we're talking about Plato. Let me go back to Aristotle's law of non-contradiction. If we say that some man plus woman equals X, and then you say that
sex, actually, it's sex.
It equals sex. It also equals sex. If we're saying that means one thing, right? And then we say that man plus man does not equal X, because they're not the same thing.
Yeah, I've taken logic before. I understand where you're going with this.
The point that I would get
the thing that is this plus this is straight.
You just accepted the premise. You just said it's not the same.
I reject the premise that marriage is inherently between a man and a woman. Therefore, what I would reject is man plus woman in a procreative union.
So then what's
towards that marriage? Here's the thing that Michael's going to do here is he's going to, because I can, hold on, let me make it very clear. I'm going to give you, I think a marriage is a partnership between two people that is focused on living together in communion, in harmony, and believing in that. What Michael's going to do is what makes that different than two guys or two brothers living with each other. Good problem here, and the problem, good question. The problem, here's the problem that he does, is that marriage and a lot of things are a little bit hard to define, and there's a lot of like.
Not that
it actually is, Michael. It's the same way if I say, "What is love?" Michael, define love to me.
Love is the willing of the good of the other for his own sake.
Okay, so if I
Thomas Aquinas, by the way.
Okay, so yeah. So then if I do, I inherently do that if I will to the good of someone else. I will for the good for others for their own sake all the time, even if I don't like them at all. You think it's love?
Yeah.
I really want other people to do well, even if I really hate them.
Yeah,
because they're terrible.
Charitable and loving.
I gave a quarter to a homeless guy. I don't love him.
I don't.
It was kind of like, hey man, get out of my face.
It's a good act, not with the right intent.
I
willed it to him for his own sake. Here you go. I want you to do well. Here I'm giving you a.
Yeah, that's
you say you love it, so
you're
you
a very loving person.
And is that? But there's a different type of love than marriage, and it might be a more gradient spectrum. The point I'm trying to make here.
Love within marriage is also willing to.
The point I'm trying to make here, Michael, is that there's a lot of ambiguity surrounding a lot of these topics. What Michael likes to do is
I just answered it very succinctly.
throw the lifeline to you. Marriage is this, and I'm like, well, maybe it's a little more complicated than that. Your audience goes, no, it's not.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that's the exact point that I'm trying to make here is that there is fuzziness around the edges, and people who want to reject the nuances and people who exist in society differently than you, it doesn't mean that they're wrong. They might just live a different lifestyle than you. And if you can't get over that, maybe you should go live in a country where gay marriage doesn't exist. Pick your favorite Middle Eastern country.
You mean all of them before 2001?
Sure, fine, go for it.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. So why don't you leave them?
All of them ever?
Sure.
Okay.
So then you can go to one of those countries.
I love Oliver. And
you do?
And yes, and I will your
Michael.
good.
If you love him so much, why don't you marry him?
So I'm going to stop you from embarrassing yourself in this explanation.
Oh, I'm sure.
Do we have any more questions? No.
That's
okay,
it.
We got a poll. Who won that round? Was it my liberal friends?
Oh my goodness. That was so... Yo, Michael Knowles got fucking destroyed in this. Oh my God, bro. It was disgusting. They obliterated Michael Knowles. Terrible performance. I wonder if the comments agree. Let's see if the comments. I can't believe Michael waited 50 minutes to bring up Aquinas. Man, that guy got asked what the Fifth Amendment was. Mr. Huge Movement just say, I plead the Fifth. I'm not gay. I have a wife and kids and 3 kids. Good cover technique. This is a great thing y'all created. Even bar fights, the amount of interruptions were ridiculous. The debate when the debaters won't stay on topic, or if they just shut up and let people. Oh my goodness, wasn't good. Michael Knowles got cooked. That's all we got for this. Hope you guys enjoyed. Yeah, we go on. Take care. Peace. All right, let's go into the next thing. I plan to watch this J. Cole album through the lens of I'm Dante. Oh my God. All right.